It's time for Homegrown Country with Dylan on your country 95.5 WTVY.
All right, another episode of Homegrown Country. Andrew Vinson in the house. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Glad you can make it up here.
Definitely.
So, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? How old are you? How long you been doing music?
Okay. I'm from Havana, Florida, so just
Okay.
outside Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of give you a rundown. So I was raised like super religious, homeschooled, grew up in a double wide, kind of, 15, 20 minutes outside of town. And as I grew up, I got like heavily into like punk rock and rock and roll and Warped Tour scene, all that stuff,
Yeah.
And so then I started getting in bands like when I was like 15, like metal bands.
Okay.
And then slowly into like rock and roll and punk. And then I pierced my ears. I came home and my dad was like, when are you moving out? I was like, I'll move out this week. And I was 18. And so I moved. There's a storage unit place that had these storage units where you'd roll up the door, but they were meant for bands to practice in. So then it had another wall.
Okay.
And it had an AC unit in it. So I was like, I had seen those. I was like, I could live in one of those.
Yeah.
So I moved into one of those. Which is crazy because there's no windows, no toilet, no shower, no running water.
You just turn around and go and close yourself in a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can't lock it because then you'd be locked in there. But, no one ever really bothered with me.
That's wild.
I lived there for a few months. Anyways, so I've always kind of done things on like my own way.
Right.
But then over the years, I became not homeless. All that worked out. I met my wife, got married, still playing music the whole time in bands. And then after I got married, I started really focusing on like just writing songs on my acoustic guitar.
Right.
So I've been doing that now for about 12 years with varying levels of like seriousness. It's always been there. I've always been writing songs, but I've also been painting houses for a living.
Okay.
And it's not something I love, but I can make a living at it. And I'm good at it. But every couple of years, I'll be like, I think I'm going to go lay in the road. I don't think I can do this anymore. And so then we'll go on an adventure. So we've gone on like multiple adventures. When the bands broke up, I had this van from the band that had like a bed in the back with storage underneath. It was a Ford Ecoline 150. So we hit the road in that, me and my wife, and we traveled all the way out to the West Coast and worked in a national park out there.
That's cool.
It was amazing. Out in Yosemite.
Oh,
it was just like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'd never been out west. I never did a bunch of traveling as a kid. So like
I did a high school report on Yosemite National Park. So I've never actually been, but me and my wife, when we got married, we flew to we did Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And then we drove the extraterrestrial highway to Vegas.
Heck yeah.
And so we drove past and like got to see some of Yosemite from the outside.
Yes. It's
that
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And getting to live there for a summer was just like, oh man, it was magical. Like there's so many spots like that only the employees knew about too, which was cool. They're like, hey, we're going to this hidden waterfall. And you like just go to do all this. It was unbelievable. And they put you in these camps, these tent camps where like it's a wooden floor with like framed walls. And then there's this canvas tent anyways. And you're like 100 feet from the Merced River, which is like this crystal clear river with trout in it. And it was just like, it was unreal. I worked at a pizza place and like a burger shack. And in the burger shack, I was the only person that spoke English. Everybody else was from Mexico. And they were cool. We had so much fun, but we couldn't talk. And so we just found ways to communicate. And like if somebody ordered a chicken sandwich, they'd start clucking. We just had all these like jokes. It was a great time.
That's so crazy.
It was crazy. But anyways, on the way home from that trip, we were passing through Tennessee, and me and Bethany, my wife, were talking about like what we're gonna do, big life plans. We're like, all right, we're gonna go. I'm really gonna work on this music thing. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
All the stuff. We get home. The day we get home, we find out she's pregnant. So I was like, holy cow.
Remember all those plans we were talking about?
All those plans out the window.
I need to revisit all that.
Yeah, I was still working on music, but not, I had to find a place to live, all this, get a job, all that stuff. So then we started a family. That was 10 years ago. I got 4 kids now.
Oh, wow.
And it's great. I love it. But okay. So we did that adventure. We did another adventure like that once I had 1 kid. I bought this little Winnebago Class C RV and like ripped the couch out, put a baby crib in.
Nice.
We went back out to California. It was a lot shorter trip. It was a lot harder with a baby.
Right.
At one point, we were living in a Home Depot parking lot for 3 weeks, and which like no one bothered us. But on the third week, a cop came and was like, "Y'all got to go."
He was like, "Hey, you guys have been here for a while."
And there was no Walmarts out there near the coast, and there's no car camping.
Oh yeah.
And the RV was super like obvious, like so you get kicked out of anywhere. And even like, you know, I was going into like a Target to brush my teeth, and they have so many homeless people, they don't put mirrors in the bathrooms or anything. So it was just like everything was very difficult. And I was like, wow, this is a lot harder than the last trip.
Yeah.
That one was shorter. Came home, got back into working again, and then I decided, all right, I'm gonna try to become a firefighter.
Yeah.
So I did that. Went to the academy at nights while I worked during the day painting. Got hired in Navarre, Florida, which is right outside Pensacola. And worked there for 3 years full time at a busy firehouse, and was an EMT and did all that. And that was really cool. I mean, it was really intense.
Yeah.
The different fire departments have different cultures. This one was like very aggressive and like in a good way. Like they're going to get in there and get stuff done. And like they were on top of their stuff. They were definitely not a lazy fire department. Like we trained every day. Yeah. And the guy that was my senior firefighter was like an MMA guy. Who had like ADHD and was like, let's train like every day, you know, and he'd have me like, we'd train firefighter stuff.
Like, all right, now imagine the fire's got you in a headlock.
Yeah, dude, for real. And by the end of our time together, we were like thick as thieves. And we'd play this game where I'd see if he could choke me out in 30 seconds or less. We'd fight in the living room at the fire station. And I say fight very loosely. I was basically kind of like running around and he'd get a hold of me and choke me out and I'd be screaming. It was super fun. So that was like, it was awesome, but the calls were intense.
Yeah.
And when I thought about firefighting, I just thought about like
we're going to be grilling out all the time, saving cats.
And going to sweet fires and like saving people. Yeah. And it's a lot more of like stub toes, and then a bunch of dark stuff and
mild smoke inhalation.
Drug overdoses. You getting vomited on, stuff like that. But it was really cool. But anyways, we were there for 3 years, and I was like, man, I don't think we're going to do a whole life here away from both sides of our family. They're in Tallahassee.
Right.
And so we decided to move back home and to Tallahassee. And so I got a job with that fire department. And I didn't like that job as much. So I spent
a little better on the beach.
It was a little bit better. I had, more friends at the other place. Anyways, in the firefighting thing, it's kind of like a fraternity or something where it's like there's hazing and stuff and you have to kind of prove yourself. That's easy if you're like easier if you're at a busy house where it's like you're running a bunch of calls. You can like show like, hey, okay, this guy, he's got his stuff together. He's got our back. Like we don't have to worry about him. Yeah. But I was at a much slower station where it's like, you can really prove yourself. I basically was a glorified cook. Yeah.
You might get another chance to prove yourself tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
but
like
not.
People would legit, like my lieutenant walked in one day, was like, hey, I want you to make me a blueberry crisp today. And you're like, what? Is this a real job?
Aye, Captain.
Yeah. So I drove to the store in the brush truck and got stuff and made him a blueberry crisp. And you walk home or go home feeling like you're just like, I don't know. Yeah. So that wasn't what I signed up for. Yeah. I didn't save any cats that day. But at the other place, I did save a lot of cats, dude. And you'd have to get up there, climb up this tree and you'd have your bunker jacket on. You stick the cat in your jacket,
right? Yeah,
and just claw the ever living snot.
It's just crawling around the inside of your jacket while you're trying to safely get down.
And then sometimes you have a cool like lieutenant or captain, and he just like talk to the person like, "Have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree?" And they go, "Oh, no." That's right, because they never die up in trees. He's like, they'll come down. So sometimes I'd have to climb the tree, sometimes I would.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
But yeah, anyways, so I quit the fire department because I was like, man, I'm barely making enough money to cover our bills. So now I got to work 2 jobs. And I want to play music, but I don't have any flexibility with my schedule. So I left the fire department, started my own painting business again. And now I've been really, over the last like 2 years, working on pursuing this music thing.
That's cool, man.
So, yeah.
So, all right. So now you're painting houses, right?
Right.
So how do you balance your time? What does your work life, music life schedule look like now?
It's pretty full. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Cause like it depends. It depends on the clients with the painting. If I'm like I just finished a cabinet job, refinishing their cabinets. Then you got like their whole house busted up. You know, you got like the heart of their home, like they
Right.
can't cook. There's dust everywhere. It's like a nightmare for them. So when I'm in a job like that, like I'm really trying to knock it out.
Yeah.
And then I'm gigging on the weekends and like practicing in the evenings sometimes with my band. And then also trying to fit in like hanging out with the kids. Like one night during the middle of the cabinet job, I came home from work and the kids were like, "We miss you. Like, where have you been? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "All right, let's go camping." So we went camping that night.
Oh, wow.
Woke up, cleaned up camp, took them home, and then I went back to work. You know, so it's just like trying to fit it all in.
Yeah.
But kind of like I was telling you earlier, I'm trying to do less quantity of shows and more quality of shows.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out that balance because like my kids are only young once. I think at the end of everything, that's going to be all that matters is that like I gave them a good childhood and that I was around and I wasn't just focused on like, oh, I want to be a musician, you know?
Right.
Which I think has some validity. Oh, what's the word?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Validity.
Yeah. It has that, but I think the kids are more important. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, that's how it's going.
It's tough, man. I get it. I totally get it. I'm the same way. I think we talked earlier about how like I feel like for the past 3 years I've been a yes man. So like if you called and asked if I was available to come play music, I was. And I did. And then my home life suffered because of that. And
man.
So
it's hard to turn down the opportunities. You're like, someone's finally reaching out to me. Like I gotta say yes, but
and especially in this economy. I mean, you're like, that's $1. You know, so I'm not going to turn that down because I just spent $5. Like, you know, so it is a tough work-life balance, and especially for musicians because a lot of times being a musician just by itself is not enough to make ends meet.
No,
so you can't just play music on the weekends, or you know, you literally have to be the guy that can play Monday through Friday. I know one guy that is just solely a musician. And he posts his monthly lineup on Facebook as a photo, and it's like still a photo like this long.
Yeah, it's insane.
He's playing
the guys that are doing
day.
that. I know a couple guys in Tallahassee, Brown Goose, and that guy's hustling.
Yeah.
It's never, he's booking all these gigs to like, I'm always impressed when someone strings it together and can make it work. Yeah. That's no joke.
I know. We talked earlier and I find so much respect for these guys because like we said, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming and you realize that you're slacking on things at home or you're missing time with your kids. And the next thing you know, you're driving to the show and you're just like, I want to go home.
Yeah, dude. I just had that experience this past weekend. Had all this stuff happening. I was playing 2 gigs in Panama City. So I was playing Friday night, playing Saturday afternoon, and then I got asked if I wanted to play a hometown show Saturday night. So I was like, sure. Yeah, that's not going to be too much.
Yeah.
And it was way too much. And I forgot about the hour. I thought the hour time change was opposite. So I was like, I'll go home. I'll gain an hour. I don't know why I thought that. That's stupid.
You got home and you're like, oh, gotta go.
No, I was heading home. I didn't have time. Like I showed up and the show was starting. And so I it was crazy. Yeah. But I told my wife this weekend, I was like, I think I'm gonna keep it to 1 show a day. Like 2 shows a day is crazy.
I feel that.
But yeah, stuff starts slipping through the cracks if I'm not careful.
I have like a weird anxiety randomly that like I need to scroll back through my phone and find all the people that I've recently booked shows with and then go check my calendar and make sure that I did put them over there.
I was literally thinking that on the way here. I was like, I need to go through my work calendar for my painting stuff. I need to go through my music calendar and make sure like everything's actually on the calendar.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've had so much going on. Yesterday I was driving to work. I was like, when's that radio interview? I got to check my calendar. And then I looked, I was like, oh my God, it's tomorrow. Which is great. But and then I also booked myself I've got a podcast interview this afternoon. So I was like, okay, all right, today's a wash as far as painting. Right. But it's fine.
Yeah. I totally get that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So all right, so you're doing a lot of original music.
Yes.
How does a song come to you? What does your writing process look like? Do you start with lyrics usually, or is it music?
Typically, I'll be strumming around on my guitar, and then I'll find like a chord progression, and while I'm playing that chord progression, it'll make me feel something. I got a little melody, and so typically, if I can write a first verse and a chorus, and when I say write it, I just mean like the guitar part and the melody. Then I'm like, all right, I think that's going to be something. Like I like that. If I can get a melody for the verse and the chorus, and the guitar part's cool, then from there on out, I'll start trying to flesh it out. And the lyrics take me the longest.
Yeah.
But typically I can get the first verse and like the chorus somewhat where I'm happy with it, but then the second verse and the bridge take a lot longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's typically how it works. Every once in a while, I'll write the lyrics first, but I find that to be trickier for me because then I feel like I'm like cobbling it together, trying to make things fit and change words. But yeah, and then all the songs I write are like, they're never about like girls or stuff like that. It's always like kind of about my upbringing and stories from things in my past. And so I don't know, for me it's like some kind of therapy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I know don't like sad songs, but most of my songs are sad.
I'm a sad song sucker, dude.
Yeah, that's just what I do.
Yeah.
So
like I'm the same way. I think about it all the time. This is an awful like way to think, I guess, but like I feel like, how do I say this without like being too negative? But like, I guess I feel like I know that there's going to come a point in life where I'm going to be able to write some really good songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can't avoid it. Life is full of heartbreak. You know?
Yeah.
So there's going to come a day where I know that I'm going to have some really good songs come and they're going to be so painful to write and sing, but I know that they're going to be good because that's just, it's so easy for me to just pour something out that's sad or emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
But when I try to sit down and write a bar drinking song, you know, or like a happy go lucky song, it just doesn't come.
I'm the same way.
Not always.
My brother-in-law is like the opposite of me. He's like, we're best friends and he is so positive and everything in his life. It's not really all like rainbows, but if you talk to him, you'd think it was, you know? And so we'll get together and he's a killer musician. And we've written a few songs together. And it's like the perfect mix because he's coming at it from this positive angle. I'm coming at it from whatever angle I'm coming at it from. And it like, they can be like like we did a drinking song. And when we finished it, I was like, that's an awesome song. And I was like, it's still a sad song. He's like, it is? I was like, yeah, listen to the lyrics. He's like, oh yeah, you did make it sad.
I snuck that one in there.
Yeah, snuck that in there. But him and me writing together is fun because it kind of like brings both sides of the coin to it.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah. We one time I took my band to it was actually in the middle of January. We went to St. George Island and locked ourselves in a beach house with the intention of writing one song. Yeah, and we ended up writing 4 over like one night that we were there.
Dang,
it was. I was thoroughly impressed with how we were able to come together and just pull those things together.
Yeah.
But since then, I've been a yes man and been too busy to sit down and try to write my own music. So I've got a couple really good starts I'm working on. So
the thing about songwriting for me is like when the song's finally finished and you're listening to like that studio version.
Yeah.
At that point, it sounds so good, and you're like, I'll never be able to write anything that good again. Not that like the song's that good, but it's just like it sounds so polished and nice, and like, and then you sit down with your guitar and it feels like, oh, another song with a G chord. Like, what am I doing?
Right.
But for me, if I just keep messing around with it, and if I really get in a rut, then I'll learn a song.
Yeah.
From somebody else.
Right.
And that'll give me some inspiration. To kick it off.
For sure. So, all right. What about you're doing the original music thing. Where do you want music to, like, what's your end? Is there an end goal, or is this just like something you're doing right now? What does?
Yeah, there's an end goal. My end goal is to have people that love my records. You know, I don't really care about the quantity. It's enough for me to be able to do it full time is the goal. And there's a band I love called Lucero. They're not huge, but they have a following, and they can play probably all across the United States and fill a 200, 300 person room.
Yeah.
And then make a living. I don't think they're like crushing it, but they're all living comfortably.
Yeah, they're satisfied.
So that's what I want. I want to be able to make a living so that way I have more time to focus on it. And just be the best songwriter that I can be. And I mean, the money's a side thing, but I would love to be able to do it full time. Yeah. So, that's the goal.
That's a great goal. I think I can relate very well with you on that one. I totally understand. I don't think and correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody were to come in today and ask you to sign on to this major record label and they were going to yank you up to Nashville or some big city and you're going to be on tour 340 days a year.
Oh,
how would you
tempting?
It would be
very tempting. The problem with that stuff is like you want it so bad. Like I had a couple people reach out, publishers and like recording people, and they called me and were interested. And just the fact that someone's in, you got so excited. Where normally, like when it comes to business, I'm like really shrewd. Like I'm very like, I'm like, no, that guy's talking to me because he wants to make money off me. But when it came to the music, I was just like, I wanted to sign right on. But after talking to him for a while, I was like, man, I know like your goal is to make money off me. I was like, I understand that. I understand that this is a business. I was like, but right now, like there's no money to be made.
I'm using all of it.
I'm negative. This business is a loss right now. So unless somebody was willing to dump like a huge amount of money into pushing my music and all that, marketing really is what I need. Then I wouldn't do it. But even then, all that's just like typically a really bad loan that you have to pay back. So
it's what the masses are saying.
I'm not into debt. So.
No, me neither.
So probably no, but it would be so tempting.
It definitely would be something to think about, but I'm like you. I would much rather sit at home and write my music and produce it right out of my own little home studio. Put it out there for folks to listen to and then go tend my garden.
There you go. That kind of thing. I'm not tech savvy enough to record my own stuff.
I definitely would have to have some help.
I go to the studio in Valdosta and he's awesome. It's Earth Sound Studios in Valdosta, Georgia. I've been going there for over a decade.
Have you ever been to the brewery in Valdosta? Georgia Beer Company.
I don't think so.
My family owns that.
Okay.
It's Georgia's southernmost brewery.
Okay.
So if you're
I'll have to go. I go to Valdosta a good bit.
They got some good beer.
All right.
Chris Jones is the owner.
Sick. All right.
Gotta go check him out.
I've always because a lot of times I'll go up there and I'll camp in my car, my truck, in between studio days. Like at night, know. And I'm always kind of looking for a bar to go.
It's a good place.
All right.
Yeah, they have a great. They throw a really big Oktoberfest every year. Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm talking like everybody's wearing little kilts and everything. They go all out. They have a lot of fun.
I ended up in Helen, Georgia one time on this motorcycle trip, and I'd never been to Helen. And it was during all that. It was crazy.
A little German town.
It was fun. We had a good time.
Cool. Helen was like, so I told you I was from north of Atlanta. Helen was the place that we would all go tubing during the summer.
Yeah. People were like tubing right by the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah, that's like Atlanta's Bear Paw. Like that's Atlanta's Bear Paw.
That makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, we were walking up the sidewalk towards the end of our day, and there's some guy with a prosthetic leg, and he took his leg off. And Denny, my buddy I was with, he's like, "Can I drink a beer out of that?" He was like, he drank out of this dude's leg. It was crazy. We had a good time.
That's hilarious. Sound like you roll with a group of fun people.
That crew is a good crew. We had a good time.
That's fun, man. Well, so what you got planned? You got anything in up your sleeve right now? What's going on in the music life?
Let's see. I just put my record out. So I spent like 10 or 11 days over the course of 6 months. I'd go up to the studio as I could afford it and knocked out a 11-song record.
Nice.
It's finally out. It came out on October 25th. It's called Hell Follows Me.
Hell Follows Me. We'll put a link to that down in the description of the video as well.
Amazing. And then I got it put on vinyl. And
that's cool.
So which I've always wanted to do. And the vinyls are awesome. I got like the highest quality I could get. And so the record's finally out. I'm playing Valdosta next weekend on the 15th.
Okay.
Playing with some heavy bands.
Right on.
At a pizza place. Should be cool.
Yeah.
And then the following week, I'm playing in Dothan, their park series at the amphitheater.
Yeah.
I'm playing with a handful of other people throughout the day. One of them's Gage. He's super good. I've played with him before. But I'll be playing that gig full band. I think our slot is at 3:30.
Yeah.
And we're playing for an hour. And then I'm playing Orlando later this month, and then Chattanooga at the beginning of next month.
Oh, dang.
I'm doing a lot of like these songwriters in the rounds shows. And just gigging. I'm just gonna be gigging, and then I think around the new year I'm gonna take like a month off gigging, and My brother-in-law's got a little studio, and I think we're going to try to record some new stuff.
Right on.
Just keep the wheels moving.
Got to keep it moving.
Yeah, that's the game plan.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
Sounds like you got a good game plan going into the new year too. So we got to do that. We got to sit down and plan it all out, because if we don't, we'll end up playing every single weekend, never having time for anything. So.
Yeah. Or the other thing that can happen is I'll look at my calendar and be like, oh, I should have booked something for this month.
Yeah.
And now like everything's booked up.
Right. Yeah. You can't get a show anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, you really have to be like ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. For sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I should have mentioned this when I said what the name of the record was, but the record's called Hell Follows Me. And that track is based off a true story. I was coming home from a poker game with some buddies, and it's like low stakes poker games. We were playing like 5 to 10, 15, $20. I think was the most I ever lost. But if I lost $20, I would just be down on myself, because then you're looking at your buddy and he's sitting over there with $40 and you're like, he's got my money.
Yeah.
And so I'd been, typically I'd have some beers, but this week I was like, I'm not drinking any beer. I'm going to play good poker. So
we got to win the money.
Yeah. So I just drank coffee. I broke even. I was coming home. It was 2 a.m. and I'm in between Monticello and Perry. I'm in Lloyd.
Okay.
Passing this gas station, and I'm on this motorcycle, but the clutch has been slipping. So it's like, you can't just take off and leave somebody in the dust. And this car whips around, starts following me. And I think, oh, it's probably a cop, but all good. Like, it'll be fine. I don't think I'm speeding or anything. Keeps following me, and I'm like, no, it's like a Honda Accord or something. I don't know. Maybe they're not following me. Finally, 10 miles later, we get to my dead end street. And I've made a couple turns, and he's followed me on all these turns.
You're at home? Like,
I'm turning onto my street, my dead end
Okay.
street. And so I turn down the street. And I'm like, if he comes down this street,
we got a problem.
So I turn my bike around, and I see his headlights coming up and slowing down. And he turns and he comes down my street, and he passes me, maybe going like 2 miles an hour. He's so slow. And he's crunched up in this car, and he's got a trench coat on with no t-shirt on. And he's got these green tinted science lab like goggles on. And I was like, oh my God.
So Bill Nye the Science Guy is stalking you at 2 a.m.
And I've been listening to all these podcasts at work about serial killers during this time.
The true crime fanatic.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, dude, it's happening.
Yeah.
And so I turned around and passed him and went down my driveway. My driveway was like a horseshoe. And we were renting this little cabin behind my landlord's house. It was an awesome spot. But anyways, the horseshoe driveway went around his house. So I pulled down to my truck. I got this old truck, and behind the bench seat, I had this 20 gauge shotgun. I had some shells in the glove box. So I pull out the gun, load the gun, but it's a break action shotgun. So you only got, one shot.
Yeah.
And I leave my headlight on my motorcycle, and I stand in front of my motorcycle headlight with the shotgun, thinking this would probably be enough for him to just kind of drive off.
It would work for me.
Yeah, it would work for me too. But he just pulls into my driveway, stops at the head of my driveway, and turns his car off. And on this street out in the middle of nowhere, there's no headlights, nothing, or no street lights. And he's killed his headlights. So it's just me standing in front of my motorcycle, and he gets out and stands up. I mean, he's huge, like 6'6", like
holy cow,
skinny as a pole, but just so tall. And he gets out and he just lights his cigarette and just stands there. And all I can see is his silhouette and the end of his cigarette. And we're probably, I don't know, 40 yards away from each other.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds goes by, which feels like forever.
Yeah.
Just stand there in silence. And finally he opens up his mouth. He goes, I'm death, and hell follows me. Oh my God. So that was like enough for me to just start screaming. I'm like, I got a wife. I got 2 kids in the house. You come down here. I'm
going to fix and change your name to Dead.
Yeah, exactly. You come down here. I'm going to kill you. And, I'm screaming, but he's not replying to anything I'm saying. He just continues to say stuff that sounds like it's either from Revelations or Tombstone or something. I don't know. Like,
ridiculous.
I recognize some of it. Yeah. It was just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And, but then he just gets in his car. I'm like, oh, thank God he's leaving. But then he just drives the other end of my driveway and gets out and basically starts the whole thing over again. So now, as he's talking, though, he slowly just starts walking towards me. And, he's gone from being 40 feet away to now he's 12 feet away. And I pull back the hammer on this gun, and in my head, it's like the whole time, like, I'm going to be okay with this. I'm going to be okay with this. If I kill him, it's going to be okay. And during all this, my wife's heard me screaming. I've woke her up. She's called the cops, but we're like 15 minutes from.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, he's still walking. He gets to about 10 feet from me, and I put my finger on the trigger, and I've been screaming the whole time, but I just screamed, "One more step, I'm going to kill you." And I meant it. I mean, there was no other alternative for me at that point. And right as I put my finger on the trigger to pull it, he just laid down on the ground and started crying. And I was so relieved, and he just cried, and nothing he was saying made any sense. And I just held him at gunpoint, and finally 15 minutes later the cops showed up, and they were like some good old boys, and so they were like, "Man, you did good. I was blowing his head off. Good job, man." I'm like, "Thanks." And he had some bag of green powder in the car, and the car wasn't his, and an ambulance came, took him to the go get a psych evaluation. And I guess they asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I think I said no, because I never heard back from him again.
Right.
Now, recently, since I've written this song and been telling the story at shows, I kind of wanted to know, like, the ending, like, whatever happened to that dude. And I called up there, and they're like, "Man, we switched from paper to digital files, and like it'd be really hard for us to find that." And so I honestly have no idea whatever happened with him. I guess he just probably had a bad drug trip and
something.
I don't know.
And he was about to have a bad trip.
He was about to die. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't kill him. That would have been horrific for both parties involved.
It would have been a different song.
It would have been a different lot song. Sadder. So yeah, that was the story. It was just basically about me deciding whether I was going to kill this guy. Thank God I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But I named the record after that song.
That's crazy cool, man. Yeah. And so that's pretty cool that you tried to call up there and see if you
I
could
wanted
find
to know like what happened.
Yeah, I would, and I'd love for him to hear the song.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'd be interested to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because like I never even had a chance to be angry. I mean, I wasn't like angry at him. It was just like, this dude's crazy.
And can you imagine being him and hearing that story? Because I'm sure he has no recollection of it, probably.
I mean, he was probably, I don't know, maybe he's on like some acid or shrooms, some crazy amount, and just like probably didn't know what had happened. The next day wakes up either in, I guess he would be in the hospital.
Yeah.
Typically they hold you for 3 days for like something like that. That'd be crazy.
Or maybe he's still in the hospital. We don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'd love to know what happened with
that
him.
Would be wild if you could ever find out.
Yeah.
Have to come back and do another episode.
Yeah.
Update everybody.
I mean, I feel like it'd be pretty easy. Like yeah, he's like 6'6". He's massive. I don't know. I'd be curious.
That would be wild to find out.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy, man. Well, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, man.
And that's the song that we played on the radio today. Yeah. We're playing it again on Friday. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, make sure you tune in 1220 95.5 to hear Hell Follows Me on Your Country 95.5. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in and sitting down and talking with us. Thanks for it's been a lot of fun getting to know you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll do it again sometime.
Definitely. I'd love it.
All right, man.